everybody, and welcome to the Mountaineers Now post-game show basketball edition. And I've got Christopher Hall with me, Schuyler Callihan, here to break down the West Virginia and Missouri State Mountaineers coming out on top in the season over 67-59. Josh Eilert getting his first win in game number one, first game post Bob Huggins era. So look at the numbers in this one. Jesse Edwards in his debut goes for 13 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Quinn Slazinski led the way with 18 points on 4-10 shooting, 7 points. Chance Moore, the leading scorer for Missouri State, going for 24 on the night. West Virginia ended up shooting 22 of 63 for the evening. They were 4 of 32 at the half. We'll get into that for sure. But the one stat that really kind of popped off the page here to me, Chris, is the turnovers. Only 7 of them in this game for West Virginia, 13 combined between the two. That's typically about half the number of what we've seen for West Virginia over the years. So I guess out of all the bad things that this team has gone through and all the depth issues that they still have and all the concerns that there is with this team, and it is one game, it is Missouri State, but you got to feel pretty good about the team only having 7 turnovers and that being without Kirk Reese.
Missouri State didn't really apply pressure defensively, so I wouldn't really take too much of that number. Yeah, it was just one of those nights where you saw in the first half where they just weren't all on the same page. They probably all felt pressure to score. You could see it the way they were playing, kind of hero ball. Eilert mentioned it after the game that they were just pressing too much, trying to score, trying to force the issue. So I saw right on the second half when they ran the offense correctly, they executed better and they got better looks. I mean, they just weren't even taking good shots in the first half. So that was pretty much the main attributor, just trying to force the issue, trying to win one-on-ones, which they should have won a lot of those one-on-ones. They're the bigger, more athletic team. So I think that's probably a little bit concerning, even if they're trying to win on one-on-ones when they shouldn't. Need to just run the sets, but they should win those battles. Also concerned that, they didn't feed Jesse Edwards the ball. A huge height advantage, huge advantage there underneath. And I would like to see him clear out one side and overload the other. I know that's kind of an old Bob Huggins play, but when your guy's 7 foot, and the closest guy they've got near is about 6'9", you just got to force feed him the ball a little bit, let him work. They're all going to crash down, and then he can find. He's a good enough passer where he can find the open shooter on the outside. So, Eilert mentioned it after the game. They need to get him more touches. He did have 3 turnovers and only 7 shots out of that. So, really need to get him the ball more underneath, I believe. I know it's going to be tougher in the Big 12. They're going to have guys close to his size, and you got to find ways. How are you going to get him the ball? Because they're not going to make it easy for you to get him to even ball down in the post in the Big 12. So got to work on that with these smaller teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially when you don't have Kirk Reese out there, you're without Raekwon Battle for potentially the whole season, or at least the start of it. A Cook is out, so you've got 3 starters in this lineup that are not available. You've got to be able to find ways to get the best men on the floor of the ball. But the biggest concern for me, and it was pretty much a concern I think of everybody coming into the season, was unless Raekwon Battle is out there, who's going to be that guy that is the go-to bucket? I mean, outside of Jesse Edwards, you can feed him in the post all day long, but when teams in Big 12 play, and even some of the teams that they'll see here in non-conference play, like an SMU or Pitt, they're going to double down on Jesse and they're going to get all their attention on him. So who's going to be the guy that opens up the floor? Is that Seth Wilson? I mean, that to me is probably my first guess, right?
Yeah, Quinn he can shoot more outside. He has to do a little bit more inside. Offer didn't get enough shots up, I think. I mean, they were kind of up in his grill earlier. They knew he could shoot. But, yeah, I mean, you're looking at Seth Kerr. I mean, that's pretty much it from your guards, I believe. I think, again, you can get a lot more offense from Quinn. He did have 18 points. A lot of it came from the free throw line. But I like the way he's aggressive, and I like the way he can pop it from outside. Honestly, he might be the best shooter on the team if you're kind of looking at the whole group. So Steph, he's going to score in spurts. He did in the second half to kind of give him that kind of a little bit of cushion there. I think it's the midway point. I think it was 7 points or whatever. He hit back-to-back threes, and that's what you expect from Seth. kind of just flip momentum real quick on a couple possessions with a couple threes, and all of a sudden they're off and running, and you kind of get the other team running frantically. Credit to Missouri State. That's a team that returned three of their leading scorers. They never got flustered. They just stayed within themselves. I know his first name is Dana, their head coach. He's a good coach. He's kind of turned that program around. I think they kind of got snubbed this year in the preseason rankings. They were picked sixth. Don't have a lot of size. Kind of mentioned that with Edwards, but that's a team that really, when you look at it, there's one of the kind of scary teams that they can make a run in their postseason tournament, and they can kind of be that team that knocks off a second seed or a three seed just because they too can get hot. I saw it from Chance Moore tonight. I mean that might be a better team this season than it kind of went on paper, but it's not an excuse for West Virginia. We saw it last year. It took them a while to get gel together. And they played really well at the end of the year. You don't know. You knew what you were getting from Huggins. You don't know what you're getting from Eilert. It's a different offense. So we'll see. They got the first win, and just kind of take the wins as you can get them at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think at the end of the season this game's going to end up being a quad one win by any means. But I mean, like you said, I think this is a much better team than advertised, and I think can make some noise in the Missouri Valley Conference, especially. I mean, in those things, it just takes one team to get hot. I mean, we've seen it before. Teams that are the bottom seed in some of those mid to low major conferences, they could have 9 or 10 wins all year, and they're somehow playing in the title game. So, I mean, who knows? But I think that team they're better than the 17-15 record than they were a year ago. At least just from what we saw from one game. We'll see. There's still a lot to be played. That could be also because of West Virginia not being at their best. But from Josh Schuyler and what you saw from him, I mean, I get it. It's one game. It's a very small sample size. But how do you feel like he managed the game, rotations, lineups, minutes? Just the flow of the game. He threw a 2-3 zone out there at one point. Just how do you think he did in his first game?
I think he's all right. I mean, I can only imagine his first time again without Huggins.
Yeah.
There's a big shadow overcasting this place right now, and that is Bob Huggins. So I think with everything that's kind of happened and all the pressure, you want to get that first win to kind of get that going. And I think he did fine. I like the way they're trying to mix up defenses. It might be a little too early to try to throw so much out there. They definitely got confused and left some guys open. Eilert mentioned, there was went into 2-3 zone. There's 4 guys on one side of the floor. So maybe threw a little too much at him early. But really, it's a learning experience. When you throw a bunch of them out that, it will make it easier for him down the road. So I think he did fine with all the emotions and everything that's going on surrounding this program. I thought he did fine. Obviously, they shot 4 of 32 in the first half, and for them to come out and play much better, that goes credit to the staff and keeping them calm. I know the players. They praised Offrey a lot. There's a freshman. They coming off the floor. I guess he was saying, "Hey guys, they'll fall the second half. Shots will fall. It's not a big deal." So, 19-year-old kid that just came in the program, playing above his age. So he did great. I think he did good. I don't want to say great. I think he did good. Managed it as poorly they started. It really could have went sideways that second half, and it does help when you start making shots and you shoot 58% in the second half. Kind of helps that a little bit better. But hey, you got them to execute because they were not executing the first half at all, and they got much better looks, step in shots. That's where Seth. He's not an off the dribble guy. I haven't really seen it. Maybe he is. I haven't seen him from it yet. But when he can step in and shoot, that's when he's dangerous. So that's really what they need to do. They didn't really work off the ball. I felt very well in the first half, a little better second half. That's really where Seth needs to improve in his game is just get open when he's off the ball, come tight off that screen so he can get a step in 3-pointer.
Yeah, I mean, 14 minutes and 7-second drought. I mean, you're not going to win a whole lot of basketball games when you go that long without making a basket. But I mean, obviously, it's Missouri State. It's first game of the season, and you're figuring things out. I don't want to give excuses, but I mean they're going to have to figure something out. But I mean for Eilert, I agree. I think he did everything he could. He played everybody he could in this game. They technically have 9 guys available. The only player that did not play was Ali Ragab, who is the transfer from Gannon University, who is pretty much just more like a body. No disrespect to Ollie, but he's a little far away from where they need him to be in a game that was tightly contested throughout. There's just no chance in him getting into the game. So maybe in one of these games coming up here on the schedule before they get into the Fort Myers tip-off, they can maybe get him involved if they
They're
get a
all
big
going to be
lead.
close.
But that's the thing. You might sense a theme here as we get deeper into non-conference play that this team's probably not going to get any comfortable leads on anybody. So we'll see what happens. That'll do it for us here tonight on the Mountaineers Now post-game show presented by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Again, West Virginia winners 67-59. We'll be back at it on Friday night as the Mountaineers host Monmouth, and that one's at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. And then also post-game show following West Virginia and Oklahoma on Saturday for the football game. So busy week for us here at Mountaineers Now. Be sure you're following all of our content on YouTube at Mountaineers Now by hitting that subscribe button, and give us a follow on X at the same handle. So for Christopher Hall, I'm Schuyler Callihan. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you back here on Friday night. Take care.